Alright, what's going on, guys? Afflicted Gamer here, back with another Division video. It's Friday, it's time for the vendor reset, so I will find out what the best items are for sale this week in the Division to save you guys the time and the trouble. If the video is helpful in any way, shape, or form, please drop it a like. It's much appreciated, and it does help the channel grow. And if you are new to the channel, hopefully you'll consider subscribing for more Division content, as I do put these out every single week. Now, don't forget to double check the hub, because there's always going to be something here that if you own the blueprint, goes across all characters and you won't see it. I know there's a classic AK-47 here, but I don't know what the other weapon is, and I know that because I double checked on my PC character. And we got a firearms vest, a flash hider, and that looks like that's about it. Alright, our exotics for the week. First up, the Pecan's got 12% damage to targets out of cover with Vicious, Capable, and Pecan, which I would pass on. The Historian with 163% headshot damage with Unforgiving, Disciplined, and History Repeats is actually quite good. You can get rid of Disciplined if you're not a fan of the talent. The Cassidy, 337% stagger with Responsive, Fierce, and Boomstick. Again, you can get rid of Fierce for something else if you don't like it, for say something like Deadly if you do want to run the double Cassidy. Centurion, we've got Expert and Determined. The Liberator, however, 22% enemy armor damage with Prepared, Deadly, Dominant. Now, you could reroll Dominant for something else and make use of this in either PvE or PvP. One way or another, this is a great Liberator. Alright, and as for the rest of the gear, I will quickly scroll over this stuff because I know you guys are curious. Oh, alright, we got a nice custom M44 for sale here. Too bad the headshot percentage wasn't a bit higher, but it's still at 158% with Deadly, Destructive, and Ferocious. Nice. So I would pick that up if you are a fan of the M44. And now we are getting classified gear 1 week after 1.8 launches in the next global event. So I'm not sure how much of this stuff you guys are really going to want to see, but for the new players, you don't have classified gear. For instance, the Striker pack here, you could pick this up. 1245 firearms, 15% stability, which you could reroll off for crit damage, health, skill power, even bump up the stability. You've got 52% ammo capacity in the minor. One way or another, you can make use out of that if you didn't have a better one. And what else? Accomplish knee pads. Good way to stack up on your field proficiency caches. Hopefully there'll be something else half decent down here. And other than that, we're gonna just move on. There we go. Electronics Mod, 253 electronics, 3,324 skill power. Wow, that's a lot of skill power. That's nice. Extended mag. This is actually pretty good too. On 150.5% mag size, 3% crit hit chance, and 4% crit hit damage. So if you don't have a better one of those, I would pick one up. And actually, believe it or not, I'm going to recommend... Where'd it go? Oh, I could have swore I saw... Stability. No, I thought it was on a grip. My bad. Alright, let's move on. Alright, upstairs at the armory, there's one thing for sale here, which is a VX1 12 times zoom and scope, 16.5% headshot damage, 4% crit hit damage, and 3% crit hit chance. I would pick a few of these up unless you already have a better VX1 scope. I'm actually going to grab a couple myself there. Alright, at the Southpaw safe house. What we've got down here is all the way at the bottom. We've got 2% pulse crit hit chance, a prototype performance mod, 2%. That is a max roll. So if you are a fan of stacking up your crit chance, go ahead and pick a few of those up. Okay, down at the Ward safe house, we scroll down to the bottom yet again. We've got 7.5% turret health, prototype performance mod. I'd pick a few of these up, especially if you're going to be running builds like Firecrest or anything with a turret at all. Either way, I'd grab the 7.5%. Alright, at the Madison Stand safe house, once again, we've got a prototype performance mod for sale here. This time it's 4% turret damage. Absolutely grab a few of these and throw them on your character unless you already have some.
Don't worry, it happens.
Okay, and making our way now into the dark zone. Sadly, that was it for all of the light zone safe houses at West 34th Street. What she's got down here is a prototype performance mod. Got a lot of these this week. 7.5% ballistic shield health. So if you're planning on running the defense set, and especially when the classified set gets here, I would go ahead and pick a few of those up. Okay, and up at the West 39th Street DZ checkpoint, for those of you that are still a fan of the good old Vector, we've got one here. It's a tactical Vector 45 ACP, 22.5% crit hit chance, ferocious, responsive, and determined are on it. You could reroll out ferocious if you wanted to for something else, or you could use it like this in PvE. But I had to point it out because this was the go-to weapon when the division launched, and there is a good one for sale here in the DZ.
Next time, come ready to buy.
Alright, in the DZ03 safe room, there's one item for sale here, and it's a Tactical Super 90. It's actually pretty damn good. 314% stagger with Destructive, Brutal, and Unforgiving. So for those of you running builds like Lonestar, the Classified Lonestar set, you might want to take a look at this.
It was your call, not the buy.
Alright, on the east side of town now, at the East 34th Street DZ checkpoint, there is a prototype Firearms Mod for sale here. 250 firearms with 3,307 skill power. Absolutely pick this up unless you already have a better one.
My time.
Okay, at the DZ04 safe room, she's got a prototype electronics mod, 238 with over 3,000 skill power on it. Only pick that up if you are desperate, but the highlight is 6% first aid self heal. That's a max roll. If you do not have a 6%, I would grab as many of these as you can.
You might regret not. This is the shit you need.
Alright, up at the DZ06 safe room, there's a few items for sale here, especially if you don't have the classified versions. First up, D3 mask, 1231 electronics, all resist in the major, which I would reroll for literally anything else, and 12% damage to elites in the minors. So until we get the classified version of D3, you might want to take a look at this mask. There also is the Lonestar vest. Like I said, unless you don't have the classified version, 1150 stamina, over 16,000 health, 4% health on kill, which you could reroll for skill haste, and 55% ammo capacity in the minor, which is not too bad at all. There's also final measure knee pads, 1232 stamina, and then we got enemy armor damage in the major, which again, I would probably reroll for something like crit damage or health. Then in the minor, we've got shock resist, damage to elites, and disrupt resist. And finally, Reclaimer gloves. Again, these are all better than my classifieds. 1229 firearms, 7.5% enemy armor damage, 5.5% crit hit chance, 14% crit hit damage. So take a look at those and pick them up only if you need them and if you don't have the classified versions as of right now.
Come on, you're killing me here.
Hey, you want to see this stuff or not?
Alright, at the Park Ave DZ checkpoint, there's a couple items for sale. First up, MP7, 22% critical hit chance with competent, responsive, and hurried on it. You could literally just leave that as is. There's a lightweight M4 here for sale that you can make good use out of in PvE, and you'll see why I say PvE in a moment. 19% enemy armor damage with prepared, skilled, and ferocious. Now, you could leave it as is and use this as a skill build, or just reroll skilled off for something else, and you've got prepared, destructive, or deadly, and ferocious. Either way, that way you can make use out of it in PvE. So if you don't have one, period, go ahead and pick this up for now until you get a better one.
I've got plenty of other clients.
Alright, and for our final stop of the week, up at the DZ09 safe room, there's two items for sale here. Banshee is getting an overhaul in 1.8, so you might want to take a look at these pieces if you don't already have better ones. Banshee backpack, 1232 stamina, over 12,000 skill power, and bleed resist in the minor. and then a Banshee holster. We almost have 1200 across the board, but we do have skill haste as a major attribute on this holster. So that's everything that we have for sale this week in the division. Once again, guys, I hope the video was helpful. If so, once again, drop a like on it. It's much appreciated. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Afflicted Gamer, and the stream times for me to be live here on YouTube are at the end of the video. And on top of that, this Tuesday I will be streaming Resistance here on YouTube, and I will put up a notification at exactly what time on Twitter ahead of time. Other than that, get what you need, and I will see you this Tuesday, agents, in patch 1.8. Unless it comes out Monday or something early, like they said. Alright guys, take care.